Tillis, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for testifying. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you in the time that we've worked together since I've been on this committee, and particularly with your vocal support for trying to move forward with the TEAM Act. I want to thank former Chair and Ranking Member Moran for us having a vote where the TEAM Act was passed unanimously out of the committee. I know that one of the witnesses referred to the process that they go through with a VA when dealing with exposures and presumptions as, Shane, I think it was you actually, that said it was complex and uncaring exposure and presumptive process. I think it is. And that's why I think the TEAM Act and actually the Burn Pit Exposure Act that was co-sponsored by Senator Sullivan and Manchin are so important for us to get before this committee. We have a coalition of some 30 veteran service organizations. I think every one that's not even on the coalition supports the bill. And I believe that it moves forward with getting rid of some of that frustration and not putting the weight on the veteran, but having an independent review and maybe let the tie go to the veteran. And I look forward to working with you and the other members to get that to the floor and ultimately to the president's desk. I have, and I'm sorry for not being here earlier. We've got another committee that I have to speak at shortly. But, you know, the other thing that I hope we start thinking, I think we're going to make progress on the TEAM Act. I think that we can figure out a way to resolve some minor differences with some of our colleagues on the House side and move forward with the bill in this Congress and hopefully the first half of this Congress. But also, as I was looking at some of the provisions in the TEAM Act, something as simple as an exposure questionnaire when a veteran comes into a VA facility, I think we've got to start looking further upstream. And I think I've made note for my staff that I'd like to have that exposure questionnaire as a part of a TAP program before they ever transition into veteran status. And I'd even like to go further. I'd like to be able to provide information in the electronic health record for a service member to where we're capturing information that we can predict. It may have been an event that they can no longer remember, but with increased situational awareness on the ground, there should be some way to be able to capture that information over the life of a service member so that we can even predict someone who may fill out that form and just blow through it because, you know, when you go through TAP, what you really want to do is make the transition. I want to get to a TAP program of one. I want to know everything that we need to know about that service member, up to and including potential health risk exposures, so that we can actually vector them immediately before they ever have any sign or a symptom, and then have the weight of their service history, their medical, the medical and exposure dimensions of their service history as being the weight that they carry to that process, along with a fairer process with respect to outside consultation on exposures. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a group of people that my office has spent a lot of time with, and we're going to spend a lot more time because we're going to do everything we can to get the TEAM Act and some great ideas from other members embodied in the same bill. And we're going to need your support to make sure that in this Congress we can all have a celebration, hopefully without masks and not virtually, of what I think is a major step forward. We've made great progress. I got exposed to this when I first came to the Senate 6 years ago with the Camp Lejeune situation. We've fought and dealt with administrations, Democrat and Republican administrations, where the presumptions were almost maddening. And, you know, as a U.S. Senator, I found it maddening. I can't imagine what it would be like for a veteran who's encountered an illness that's going through this process. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to ask any other questions except to say in my remaining minute, I really do hope that you all will not only think about those veterans, but think about that service member, that active service member, and what more we can do to better integrate and better identify these problems before that service member or that veteran may ever know that they have an exposure or a problem.